VBN, The Rich Video Blog Network, home to weekly NFL predictions, great personality profiles, great professional wrestling video blogs, great sports video blogs, great MBTA video blogs, great top 10 list of everything and anything video blogs, plus a whole lot more. Collection of my work goes back to June of 2014 on various social media websites. RVBN, the only video blog on the internet that matters. Time now is 3:56 in the afternoon, Billerica, Massachusetts. It's sunny out, about 67 degrees today, about where it should be this time of year. Not too hot, not too cold. The next several days is going to be damp and dreary, but after Monday, going to be sunny weather, but temperatures about average. No 70s or 80s for a little while. Some news to report on the RVBN News. Why do. The Miami Heat are going to part ways with former All-Star player Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh hasn't played since 2016 due to recurring blood clots in his legs. I don't think Chris Bosh is going to play NBA basketball again. The NBA has finally awarded the 2019 NBA All-Star Game to Charlotte. They were supposed to hold it this year, but they had some problems. Don't want to discuss about that. And the Sporting News yearly yearbooks about previews of the NBA, college basketball, NFL, college football, fantasy football, and Major League Baseball and fantasy baseball has been rebranded back to the Street and Smith name. Street and Smith was a preview magazine which Sporting News bought the name in 2008, but they're rebranding it back to that. And that's about it on that. I'll be back in a flash with my second video blog subject of the day about the 4 NHL teams that has not made Stanley Cup Finals. Tell you which one's going to be in the Stanley Cup Finals first. I'm going to be back in a minute. Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! I don't care about game shows. I don't care about game shows. RVBN. I am back. My second video blog subject of the day is about the 4 teams currently playing in the NHL that have not made the Stanley Cup Finals. They are the Jets/Coyotes franchise, the Thrashers/Jets franchise, the Blue Jackets, and the Wild. I'm not including the Vegas Golden Knights on this list because they're set to come into the NHL this fall. They haven't played an NHL game yet. Monday, the Nashville Predators qualified for the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time in their 19-year history. And here are the chances of the 4 cupless teams to make the Stanley Cup Finals in the near future. The first one probably has the best chance of making a Stanley Cup Finals within the next few years is the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think they have maybe a 50% shot of making the Stanley Cup Finals the next 3 years or so, because the Blue Jackets have one of the best goaltenders in the NHL, Sergei Bobrovsky, and they have a great balance of offense and defense. John Tortorelli is an awesome coach. He led the Tampa Bay Lightning to a Stanley Cup Final in 2004, and Blue Jackets play in the Metropolitan Division, which is all stacked with Washington and Pittsburgh, but those 2 teams are starting to age, along with the New York Rangers and the other teams in that division, like the Hurricanes, Devils, Islanders, and Flyers are kind of in a state of flux, so the Blue Jackets could bounce into being a top dominating team within the next few years, in my humble opinion. The Blue Jackets came into the league in 2000, and they've been in the Stanley Cup playoff 3 times, but they have not won a playoff series. The next team, I think, that might have a good shot to make the Stanley Cup Finals out of the 4 cupless teams are the Minnesota Wild. The Minnesota Wild have probably about 25% chance of making the Stanley Cup Finals in the next few years. Wild have a good goaltender, and Devin Dubé. He's probably one of the best goaltenders in the league when he's on his game. But the core is aging, which includes Zach Parise and Ryan Suter. And they have some good offense and defense. And Bruce Boudreau is a good coach. The Wild came into the league in 2000, and they made several times the Stanley Cup playoffs: 2003, 2007, 2008, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. 8 times, and they've won 4 playoff series, making it to the Western Conference Finals in its 3rd year in existence in 2003. So Wild have a decent shot, but it might be running out of time for them for this core of Wild players. The next team that probably has the best shot of making the Stanley Cup Finals within the next few years out of the 4 cupless teams is the Atlanta Thrashers / Winnipeg Jets. The Thrashers Jets franchise came into the league in 1999. They've only made 2 playoff appearances, 2007 and 2015. The Jets have one of the exciting young players, Patrick Lalane, and they have a pretty good defensive core, and they have decent offense, but they need a true #1 goaltender. Paul Maurice is a decent coach. He got a contract extension, but the fans in Winnipeg are just getting a little, getting impatient to see a perennial cup contender in Winnipeg, and I give maybe them a 10% shot to make the Cup Finals within the next 3 years. The Hockey News even suggested that 2019 could be the year the Jets win the Stanley Cup. I wouldn't go say that far. I still really believe that somehow the Jets are just kind of like the Atlanta Thrashers in the past, which the mediocre probably won't get them into the playoffs every single year, and if they do, they might get bounced in the first round. The Thrashers / Jets franchise have not won a playoff series. They haven't even won a Stanley Cup playoff game. And the 4th and final team on this list is the original Winnipeg Jets / Phoenix Coyotes. The Phoenix Coyotes, Arizona Coyotes, whatever you call it. I give them maybe a 2% chance of making Stanley Cup Finals within the next 3 years, because the Coyotes franchise is always in a state of flux. They don't know if they're going to get a new arena in the desert Southwest. They have a decent core of young talent, but they need some superstars and a good #1 goaltender. Dave Tippett's a great coach, but he gets the most out of what he has, limited amount. And I think it's more likely that the Coyotes relocate to Portland, Oregon, or Seattle, Washington sometime in the near future, and they might have their fortunes better there. And I'm not including the loss of the Vegas Golden Knights on this list because they haven't played a game yet. They don't have any players under contract except 2 from junior hockey, and they have yet to play a game. So that's about it on that. I'll be back later, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google Plus with my third and final video blog of the night, which will be about the top 10 TV stars who were talk show hosts that their shows flopped. Keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Button guy. Molly Roseblood, WCCOX, and has nice legs. Elizabeth Hutt, so stunning, she's best. Amy Sweezy's awesome. Amy, the Church of WPIX channel of New York. Such a rocking cougars. Got the best legs in New York City, bar none. Bob Givers of ABC 11 has a sweet southern accent. Best legs in Raleigh, North Carolina. Ryan Clay of WHH channel 7 Boston is awesome. Best legs in Boston. And Alia Woolley of WABI channel 5 in Bangor, Maine's the best. See you later.